You're watching SKST Radio.
Well, welcome to another episode of SKST Radio. You talking real talk with Cammie, Grayson, and friends. And I have three new friends, not one, not two, but three new friends on the show today. We have Jason, we have Vanessa, and Aimee. You guys, welcome to the show!
Thank you.
I'm so excited. Okay, so you guys got together and you did a documentary, a very important documentary. So I'm not going to do a lot of talking. I want you guys to do the talking because this is important to me. And I feel like we need to get the word out as best as possible. So we're going to start with you, Aimee.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm a writer. And I wrote a book of poetry called Doe about missing and unidentified women in the United States as a way to call attention to what's happening, bring attention to their stories, and also try to honor them in my own way. And Jason and Vanessa read it, and I don't know if you two want to talk about how then we came to be.
Well, we kind of knew Aimee a little bit. We live in a very small area, and so naturally sometimes when you want to support local authors, so I got the book and read it, and it was one of those eye-opening moments for me because you know that women go missing, but you don't know how many go missing and how many are unclaimed and how many stay Jane Does for so long. So while I'm reading it, and at the time Jason was talking about wanting to try filmmaking, so I'm reading it and I'm like, this is it. This is what we need to try to focus on. I think we need to try to get Aimee on board. And then that's when Jason started reaching out to Aimee and seeing if she wanted to join us in making a documentary. Wow. And at that time we were thinking, because we hadn't done one before, we were thinking maybe like a 20-minute interview type documentary. We weren't really thinking about anything full length. So we all went into this kind of, I think, casually, thinking that it was just going to be a little project just to kind of get our feet wet, and it grew on its own. It kind of just kept going. So
it's amazing. So okay, so Jason, you did this and you put this puzzle together with filming it. I mean, oh my gosh, tell me your story.
Yeah, I mean, it was like you said, we kind of started with this little project, and I mean, we knew the poems, but the poems don't give you all the backstory of the cases. So once we started doing the interviews with Aimee, and she started telling us like the backstory of these cases and stuff, that there was just so much information, and we just needed it and wanted to do more and more with it. And that's just kind of how the project started. And then it continued to get bigger and bigger, and then we decided to try to bring in some other people, other voices into the documentary, just to kind of help tell the story a little bit better. And that's kind of how we ended up where we are now.
Wow. Okay, so I have the trailer. I would love to show people the trailer before we get too into it, because so that way they can understand what we're talking about, how fascinating this documentary is. So bear with me.
I don't believe my name's Aimée Baker. I'm a writer and I'm a poet. And I'm someone who became obsessed with telling the stories of missing women and what happened to them. So that coward run. There's a lot of people who write about crime. There's a lot of people who write about serial killers. There's a lot of podcasts about criminals. Everyone's sort of fascinated about what they're doing and what they're up to. I don't believe my heart. It has done me wrong. There's not a lot being produced that centers sort of the victim's story and talks about what they're going through. And so I thought it was important as a writer to sort of center that through my writing. And with that comes a huge burden. But I'd rather hear their stories than about what happened to a serial killer, or why a serial killer did what they did, or why an abuser did what they did. Like, that's not really important to me.
Do you believe me now? I won't do no wrong.
Wow, guys, that was powerful. Ooh, it gives me chill bumps. I mean, so what type of feedback have you been getting from the documentary?
I think we've been getting a lot of feedback just about kind of like I said, like the reaction I had to reading Doe, I think is the reaction that a lot of people are having. We've heard back, the viewers that I really enjoy hearing from right now are our male viewers, because I think women know that women go missing. And some of the men that have watched it after have told us that they never understood their wife's need to like hold on to their car keys on the way to the car until they watched this film, or they didn't really realize kind of the talks they should be having with their daughters before having watched the film. So it's just kind of a nice way to, I think, get men looking out for women a little bit more too.
Yeah. And then the red dress symbol, of so many women gone missing. That is incredible. In fact, I was looking at Twin Pines, three Pines,
Mm-hmm.
the new Amazon, and that was something that they put in that show, and I thought that was amazing. And it immediately clicked to me what that meant. Before I even knew what was going on in the storyline, I immediately knew what that particular episode was going to be about. And so for that to be brought up now in these times, and as we know, the numbers are growing. Didn't I read over 300,000 women come up missing or something like that a year?
Yeah, so per year, in a given year, about 300,000 women are reported missing. And, a large percentage of them, they'll come home, they'll be identified, they'll be found in some way. But at the close of each year, there are still thousands of women missing who were not before. And just like when I think about writing the book or working on the documentary, like all the women who are now missing who were not when I actually created those poems or created the film, right?
Wow. I mean, so with this being said, where else are we going with this movie? Are we we're going, to hit it hard on the platforms, or what are we going to do to actually make people understand this is really going on in today's time?
Yeah, the film was released December 27th on all major VOD platforms and the cable networks through United States and Canada as well.
Nice.
For now, so really, it's really just trying to get it out there and to show as many people and get as many views as possible. Just trying to spread the word as much as we can on the film and on the subject matter.
Well, I'm going to help and do as much as I can on my end. I'm in Virginia, and WWW, baby, we can do it. We can connect the world together, one view at a time. And so, so Aimee, are we going to do a sequel, or how does this work?
How does it work? I need someone to tell me. I mean, if I could continue to devote my life's focus to calling attention to women's stories, then that I will have lived a good life doing that, right? So, we're at this point, and I would like to just continue to do this sort of advocacy, using my voice, using whatever platforms I can find to continue to tell those stories, so that we change the conversation about true crime. Earlier when you asked, like, what's been the reaction? My favorite reaction has been people finally getting it, that we should be having conversations about who is missing, why they're missing, what can be done about it, rather than, focusing on like another serial killer flick or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. So Vanessa, What's next for you?
I'm not really sure. Well, I
Caught you
guess
off guard there, didn't I?
yeah, sure. I don't really. We have a couple other little projects that we're working on, films that aren't related to missing women, and then hopefully Aimee and I can join forces in the future with maybe some other projects that are kind of related to this as well. Just to, I think we were talking about maybe. I think I know it's very near and dear to Aimee's heart to how people remember these women's names, remember their stories. So I think we were kind of trying to think of a way to get that going a little better, a little more.
I'm sorry, guys, my phone.
Oh,
My
that's
phone,
okay.
sorry. I didn't turn my work phone off. I apologize for that. It'll stop in a second. I was off today, so I went all day without a phone call, so I didn't even remember to turn the phone off. So sorry about that.
Of course it'll happen now. Yeah.
I'm all ready for this interview. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
So I do apologize for that.
Amy's book, Doe, had 50 plus cases in the book, and just due to the time constraints of the film, we touched on 8 of those cases.
Okay.
So there's many more cases and many more stories out there that we weren't able to cover in this documentary.
Well, see, then that might be good too. Just the continuation of that. Because it is a lot of people who want to be heard that their child hasn't been found. A wife. And so I think just the few that you guys were able to do, that was touching. I mean, can you imagine those families seeing, okay, now somebody's really trying to help, someone's advocating for us. So I think, this is phenomenal, you guys. I really, really am proud of the film. And I think it really, I used to work for Girls Incorporated, and you're working with all these little children, these little girls, and trying to help build them. Like you said earlier, the family needs to educate that child. Sometimes they don't have that support system. So if they saw something like this would wake them up so they can be aware of the dangers that are out there, And so, even the stranger danger thing, that's pretty much gone away. All this social media, the TikTok, all this stuff, we all love. However, the young kids don't know or understand. You're exploiting yourself. You're doing all this. You're making yourself a target. And you never know who's looking and what's out there, So I'm amazed. I'm just glad you guys did this. I really am.
Yeah, and I think every time about as Vanessa said, the way in which women have been taught to recognize dangers, right? And also bringing attention to men, you have an awareness of what is happening for men endangering women, right? Speak up, say something, right? If you hear about someone going missing, share their story so that it can get broader attention. We can get more eyes on those stories.
Right. Absolutely. Well, I'm very excited to have you guys here on the show. I appreciate you being on the show. If I can do anything to help you to get it out even more, please feel free. We can host view parties or, whatever I need to do to just get the word out there because we need it. We really do. So
that would be amazing.
My baseball cap goes out to you guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
So how do people get a chance to see the film?
As of right now, it's available on iTunes, Apple TV, Amazon Prime Video, YouTube Video, Vimeo on demand, and
Are we forgetting any, Aimee?
Voodoo.
And Voodoo. And then also through most of the major cable networks that offer streaming and video on demand services as well.
Wow. And Aimee, how can people buy the book?
You can, obviously, I support my publisher, so University of Akron Press. You can buy it direct from their website or from any other major online retail booksellers.
Well, guys, let me know if you need me for anything. I am here for you to help support in any way I can. thank you again for this beautiful project that you guys have put together. And it, like I said, it warms my heart, and it helps. It really does. Working with children and girls, and this is just amazing. I can't express that enough. Jason, glad you got that camera guy. Make it happen so we can see. So this was great. So thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
And if you want to come back, just let me know. I'm here for you.
Well, thank you. It's been an honor to be here.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, until next week, SKST Radio Real Talk. Bye-bye, guys.